Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Beauty and Beyond. I am Z, and today we're going to be talking about pretty girl hobbies, habits, and pastimes. We're going to be getting into a list of specific things that can make your life just a little bit prettier. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel, leave a like and a comment about what you think about today's topic, and share it with someone that you think might be interested. This is a little bit of a lengthy list, so bear with me, but there are a lot of hidden gems in today's content, and I hope you stick around to the end because there are some things that you really might want to get out of this. So the first pretty girl habit or hobby or pastime, whatever you want to consider it, is going to be watching women-centered TV shows, movies, and YouTube videos. So there are plenty of movies and TV shows that feature female leads and can teach you lessons about womanhood and femininity. So a lot of people say that they don't watch TV, but watching television can be a great way to program yourself as it pertains to the kinds of topics that you want to be well versed in. You can adopt character personalities, traits, and specific types of dialogue and reflect it in your real life. Also, if you have time to burn and you need some decompression from your work life, watching television and movies can also be very stress relieving. Depending on your lifestyle and your personality, you could watch, for example, a show like Sex and the City, which is about successful New York socialites who explore various sexcapades with their friends. This show is an example of how you can teach yourself to tolerate different personalities from other women and other men, and how to navigate men while pursuing your career. I can say the same thing for shows like Girlfriends. I mean, honestly, sometimes these shows aren't the best example of what you should do, but maybe as you watch them, you can get really good ideas of what you shouldn't do or how you should handle certain situations. Because a lot of the situational conflict that happens in these TV shows are a direct reflection of someone's real life. So depending on what your niche is, what your interests are, for example, you could take a show like Emily in Paris and kind of adopt that to your lifestyle depending on what you relate to the most. You can also watch movies like Mean Girls, Clueless, and Legally Blonde to learn about being a social girl boss, as well as being witty and charming to get what you want. If you want to develop more of a childlike spirit and you want to program your subconscious without the extra drama of a sitcom, you can also watch movies and shows that are made for children. Usually the messaging is really positive or very meaningful, and you can program yourself to be a bit more empathetic, more fun, and more lighthearted, decompressing with shows like the Barbie TV show or the Bratz TV show. If you like fashion or beauty, you could also watch movies like The Hunchback of Notre Dame or Anastasia, as these TV shows and movies explore various types of genres in feminine form and while highlighting a female lead. It's also really nice to be very cultured in these topics and these movies, just as these are movies that have shaped even my personality and help me be more confident in being a woman and being feminine and girly. Watching girly YouTubers has also been a new thing for me. Channels that encourage women to embrace true femininity are a must for me. Even then, I haven't found any channels really that really specifically focuses on what to do and how to level up like my channel. Besides that one channel, Just Peachy, I don't really know too many channels that kind of are in the same exact lane that I am in. So that's really why I created this one. I wanted a channel that was for women and by women that pertains to all things beauty in general, because I think that it's something that really deeply interests us. And I think that we shy away from speaking about beauty so openly because it really does make people very upset and very jealous and bitter for whatever personal reason they have. But I really want my channel to be a safe space for women to just talk about their experiences with beauty, how they get treated better, how their lives change, how their lives are easier, how the process is fun and rewarding, and how it shifts your overall opinion of yourself. These are all factors on how beauty improves a woman's life. And I really love wisdom from women older than me that have YouTube channels, like Shira7, who I've mentioned a million times on this channel already, and The Universe Guru. And even though I'm not on a mission to really seek out a man with my beauty is really solely for my own enjoyment. And I would rather work for myself and invest in my beauty than to find a man who is going to kind of take care of me. But to each their own, right? But at the end of the day, they still give advice on the divine feminine. And besides, like, I will be forced to interact with men throughout my entire life. So even though I am kind of pro or leaning towards the 4B movement, I'm gonna be realistic and say that things happen and I could potentially meet someone out there in the world. But at the end of the day, being prepared with a specific mindset and setting up a confident mentality and keeping my standards high is always a really good practice for me. I find myself not overrun by temptation these days. Like, just because I look good and there's another man in the room who may be around my age or a little bit older and he looks good too, it doesn't mean I kind of have to compete for his attention or even care about his attention. Like, at this point in my life, because of my dating experiences with like older men of literally almost every race and every background, I'm at a point where I truly feel that I am above getting approval from a man in return for anything. I'm fine with like not having children personally or not getting married if it means that I do not lower my standards, which are actually very, very high. So honestly, like I am at a place where I will no longer be accepting anything but borderline worship from a man if he wants to be involved with me. Honestly, I think I'll make a Patreon to talk about my personal dating experiences and why I feel this way, but I probably wouldn't want to do it publicly here on YouTube because, for one, I've always had this thing where most of the content I publish on the internet, for whatever reason, whether it's like self-publishing my book or doing a YouTube channel or starting a Tumblr blog like TikTok, even when I post a comment under somebody's page, it doesn't really matter what account I'm on, what account I'm under, my content usually gains a lot of attention very quickly. And I actually don't really have the patience for an impersonal level amount of judgment from strangers on the internet as it pertains to my life and my previous dating life. I'd rather just talk about it on Patreon and talk about beauty on this channel. If you guys are like, I can definitely give you some advice, honey, okay? But if you guys want that type of content, if you guys want me to make a Patreon, let me know and I will definitely do it. I'll probably just do it, and then if you guys join, then you guys join. And I'll be making those videos over there too, just to have them archived. But nevertheless, these specific YouTubers have really helped me shape my opinions about my life, and I'm really grateful for that, because what I do think is so important is to honestly vet the people that you're consuming information from, because sometimes there are YouTubers that I love their content because they really seem to genuinely support women and genuinely support just this upward growth of confidence for women in a very feminine way. But it can get a bit dark sometimes, is what I'm noticing, like as far as just being nasty to their subscribers or other YouTube channels and like the drama wars. I really can't get behind that. Honestly, I've been slowly detaching myself from consuming celebrity gossip channels because it's been literally making me physically sick in my stomach. Like, if it is about men, what men think about women, the judgment of men, a pick-me's opinion, a sloppy celebrity, whatever it is, anything in that sense, I really do not want to consume it anymore. Overconsumption comes in the form of many things. Overconsumption of food, overconsumption as far as spending. And what I'm realizing now, as a person who is really active on YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube channels, which I think I mentioned in my first video, that I've been in like almost every little sector and corner of the internet. But as a loyal subscriber to the many YouTubers that I do follow, Overconsumption of toxic content that doesn't teach me anything and kind of speaks in rabbit holes and echo chambers, they're no longer the channels for me. Like, I'm above it, especially as a Black woman. And that's also why I made my channel and I have my channel the way it is now. Honestly, I do support all women, period. I will always be on code for Black women, especially in real life. But I also believe that all women should be on code for Black women. Like, I think that should be a thing. Do I think it will ever happen? Maybe not, because women are competitive at the end of the day. So I wouldn't blame someone for not stepping down off of their imaginary pedestal, right? Because everything is subjective, none of it is real. So if you kind of have one definition of beauty and you think you're like the most beautiful, you're literally hallucinating, because beauty really it's not real. It's not a real thing, and it's subjective. So while you may have this one rigid definition of beauty, somebody may look at you and think you're the most hideous person in the world. So overall, all of that, to me, in my opinion, it just doesn't hit like it used to. And I'm definitely not saying that I expect women solidarity, because I actually don't expect that at all. But I do believe that it is something that should happen, that could potentially happen, hopefully, in this type of space. Honestly, working in the beauty industry for so long has really made me see beauty and other women's beauty, and just beauty in general, as an overall arching topic that every woman can be a part of together in a similar way. I don't see myself through a white lens. I am a Black woman who sees things through my own two eyes. I'm very intelligent. I'm well-versed. I'm confident. And my money is very, very long. Just kidding. That was a Nicki Minaj reference. If you get it, let me know. But I'm also very confident. I'm so confident that I get excited for other women's beauty. I get happy when I see pretty girls. And no, I am not gay. Trust me, I found out the best way you can find out. But it just pains me, because I know that women don't trust other women. You will see a pretty girl and she will give you the nastiest look back. Really, because of her own personal issues, and it really has nothing to do with you. But girl, like, I'm smiling because your lips look great. Like, did you get filler? Your lips look great. And so does that Lululemon jacket on you. And you're frowning at me because poor little baby has inner issues. Like, I'm so sorry. You look great though. Anyway, to get back on topic, next up is reading books that help you comprehend, speak, and embrace your femininity and feminine emotions. In my younger years, I was an avid reader. I read so much that eventually I got into writing fan fictions and even self-publishing my own novel at 16. Reading allows me to adopt a new voice, a new tone, a new aura, a new cut, a new look, a new color. It also helps with comprehension skills, and you'll notice that your speaking skills can increase substantially with a good amount of reading. So I think someone like Shira Seven, she is so quick-witted because she is well-read. That's honestly what I believe. Reading, in my opinion, is more impressionable and more effective than watching television. So even though watching media, like visual media, is more stimulating, it's just that my attention span is so short these days. I cannot even stay focused on a book, but I've made a schedule for myself that I've actually been meaning to share with you all in the community tab. I'm very active in there, by the way. But it's a very strict schedule that I've been practicing and giving myself grace with as well. But it's very thought out and easily accomplishable. And I know that because I had a whole day where I went exactly by the schedule, and I felt like that was a goal that I accomplished. When I did read a lot, I was a teenager, and I read romance, young adult novels that had like a little bit of an edge to them. So my favorite authors were women. So Lacey Harrison and Sarah Dessen, yeah, we go back like way back. Lacey Harrison wrote a book called The Clique, which is a book series about a clique of rich high school girls that navigate life together. And Sarah Dessen made a book called Awake, which is also a series about a girl who can transport to other people's dreams, and she eventually becomes a detective and like solves crime from doing that. Honestly, all of Sarah Dessen's books are amazing. Like Colleen, what's her name? I don't even know Colleen, that lady. I haven't, not to be rude or anything, but I haven't read any of her books. I feel like I've tried to get into some of them and I just cannot do it. But Sarah Dessen, I wonder if she came out before Colleen Hoover, but Sarah Dessen is that bee. Like her books, amazing. Definitely go check her books out if you like the young adult coming of age romance stories. I literally love Sarah Dessen's books so much. I've also read Recovery Road by Nelson Blake, which is sort of a sad love story, but it's about a couple who navigates rehab together. And that one was really, really good. And I remember it being really sad too. But reading really is amazing and it has shaped who I am today. I believe that a lot of my knowledge and even the temperament I have is based and shaped by my reading, especially because I actually had a really rough, very rough and like overly dramatic, mentally challenging, very trying childhood. I did not have a normal childhood, which I can also talk about in my Patreon, but you guys gotta let me know if you want that. But it made me need an escape from reality, and reading really does work. I remember being finished with a book and that like you just take that breath of fresh air, like after you turn the last page and it's over, you just feel like you've lived an entire lifetime. Reading literally gives you life. So make a habit to read more and put it in your routine, especially before you go to sleep. It really does help if you have bad insomnia like me as well. Also, if you like romance, go for your age range and the topic that you're most interested in. If you like anything, like let's say, for example, video games and romance, there's going to be a romantic video game book somewhere that you can get completely lost in. And actually there is one. Like there was this book I read about a girl who meets this guy online. I completely forgot the name. I'm going to look it up. Okay, I looked it up and it's called Head Games by Mariah Fredericks. I believe that this is the book because it sounds exactly like the plot that I read, but oh my gosh, it was so good. I remember it being so good. And I was young when I read these, so they might be a little bit corny, cliche nowadays, maybe a bit dated, but they were really good books. I'm really pretty sure it was Head Games. But if you're like me and you've given up on this generation of men, you can get your fix of romance from romance novels. And it's definitely very fulfilling. Like reading really does take you outside of the matrix. It enhances your creativity and your thinking skills. And personally, I go to school for design, but I also noticed that some of the design books I read go hand in hand with aesthetics and overall image in general and helping you understand the process of that. So that helps out too, like skill-based books. Also, as far as self-help books, I was very into them for a while until I started to feel a little bit more mentally stable than the people actually writing those self-help books. Either that or I like just started to grow out of them. I think self-help books kind of conflate into like the same thing and end up just being a compilation of different ways to get you to believe in yourself so that you can start manifesting. But I think once you understand the concept of really believing that you can achieve anything that you put your mind to, after that, self-help books aren't very helpful unless you're trying to do like improve something specific like your speech or your cadence. I also really like history books and theological books as well. Books about women who have pursued beauty and have accomplished levels of success while maintaining their beauty and being known for their beauty. For example, the biography of Dorothy Dandridge was a good one for me. Definitely read biographies and books by women you look up to and you want to learn from. History repeats itself, okay? Nothing is new under the sun, and history ironically never gets old. So there is always something new to take away from your reading. You just have to find your specific niche. And I went to the library to actually get this book. I checked out this giant mythical book. And I just cannot wait to get into the different mythical stories and to increase my creativity and maybe even learn some like symbolism or adopt some traits from the mythological characters in the book. So next up is go to school. School is one of the best things that has ever happened in my life, and I went late. I started school at 24, and I'm 26 now. I used to advocate against going to school because I thought I could just rely on my skill level. Like I said, ever since I was like 13, anything that I put on the internet just went off. One thing I really do know how to do is generate numbers from the internet, but one thing I've never been able to do is to really monetize my creative content. And I'm really hoping that I can do that with YouTube. But I say, like, go to school or seriously commit to self-teaching. And I say seriously because you can teach yourself anything like I did, but to master it and apply it consistently with practice is an entirely different ballgame. And school kind of just helps you with that. I say to do what you always have done in your life and have been good at, and just go to school for it so you can continue doing that thing as an adult. So for me, that was art and design. Like my aunt, she taught me how to draw and how to craft. So since I was 6 years old, I've been practicing my drawing and shading skills, and now I've grown up and I go to design school, and those skills that I learned as a child are kind of being re-downloaded into me after like a little bit of stagnancy. So after high school, I did consider myself a self-taught artist, but if you don't do anything substantial and you're not able to steadily monetize your talent, you need to go to school for it. Like, school can put you on the right track to being accountable for honing in on the things that you really know how to do, and it will teach you how to monetize it. It will literally teach you those steps. It may not feel like step by steps, but it will kind of create a routine within your behavior, and it just kind of brings you success, especially if you are passionate about it. But that's why I say do something that you've always been good at and go to school for that, because more than likely that's the thing that you're passionate about, or at least that's what it has been for me. So school basically can just put you on the right track for being accountable and for honing in on the things that you know how to do best. And it will, it'll teach you how to monetize it. It's like, school is really the reason I'm pursuing YouTube right now. And school has been really feeling like a pretty girl hobby to me lately, or just a pastime, or it's really just been an outlet, especially because I get to be really creative. So I'm always exercising my creativity every single day just by obligation. So speaking of YouTube, I would 100% say to make a YouTube channel. Like, start doing it as if it's something you thought about. Like, if you don't feel comfortable starting, just give yourself some time to really think about it for a while, and then do what feels right. After that, all you need to do once you start building some momentum is to keep it up. And that's what I'm trying to do, y'all. Like, I'm really hanging in there. Like, we gonna get this YouTube check. I have been very loyal to a lot of channels on YouTube for years, like I keep saying. And now that I'm a baby YouTuber, I can kind of see the vision. It's really looking on the bright side, hopefully. So make a channel about your hobbies, what you're knowledgeable about, or what you like. Make it genuine, and people will flock. Like, I really like beauty, and in my own way. So when I saw that people felt the same way and related so quickly, like, you guys, the love that I have gotten from you all with 500 subscribers in a little over a week is mind-blowing. Like, I didn't even get time to practice. It's like YouTube just threw me into the algorithm. I did use a couple of marketing tactics that I might just keep for another video, but that has nothing to do with my channel niche. So let me know if you guys you want the deets. I might just put that on the Patreon too. Also, I heard YouTube pays really well, and I don't mind being super transparent with you guys if you're interested in that too. So like I said, I am aiming to create a supportive pretty girl community. Next up would be to adopt social events as a hobby. So if you're into beauty, but you're also into socializing, you can use your superpowers to your advantage, especially if you're a social butterfly. You can literally upgrade your life by becoming a social butterfly in the right circles, in the more upper echelon circles. And you want to start sooner than later, especially if you're young, because you do get away with more when you are younger when it comes to just social standards. And if you kind of can prove yourself to be a little bit more mature or well, like a little bit seasoned for your age as far as conversation and just socializing in general, and you're brushing up on all these tips and tactics and things like that, you can go really far no matter what your career choice is. So, the first type of socializing type of hobby that I would say pick up is to volunteer. I did get this advice from Shira and it worked like a charm, and not for the reasons that you might think. Not only is voluntary ethical and really holistic as far as your mental health, like seriously, volunteering exposes you to so many people and opportunities. For example, I volunteered for the National Foundation of Pediatric Cancer as a chaperone for one of the children that was going to be participating in the fashion show that they throw every year in different cities all across America. So, what I did was I just basically went on to volunteermatch.com and I volunteered for certain things that kind of fit into my niche. So, this was a fashion show that their goal was to spread awareness about research for pediatric cancer. And the entire theme is to kind of inspire the children to be encouraged about what they want to be when they're older. So, for example, if a child is, let's say, unfortunately suffering with pediatric cancer and they want to be a firefighter, they'll actually have real firefighters in uniform come talk to the child and then walk them down the runway while the child is wearing a firefighter costume, just to really look forward to the future and things like that. And it inspires the watchers to look forward to the future for the children as well. And that's really what it's all about. And this is a yearly thing. So if you can become a part of these types of communities yearly, you can become familiar with the people, you can socialize, and you can meet people who are like intellectually on your level, people who are optimistic, people who care about their community. And honestly, I met genuine, similar minded girlfriends at these events. They're also really fun, not to mention good for your mental health. And just volunteering and spreading awareness is beautiful. It's one of the most human experiences that I've felt in a very long time. And the best thing about this is that you can do it with a friend or you can do it alone, because most people come alone anyway. But there are so many different opportunities. There's opportunities in the art field, in the healthcare field. You can work with older people if you wanted to, but I would say get something on your list, and especially if you're not used to volunteering, maybe do something that is more of a yearly event rather than something that is daily or weekly or monthly. But monthly may be something good too, where once a month you're doing something that helps your community or just helps the world in general. It will literally like brighten up your life times 10. And there's so much room for opportunity during these types of events. So definitely just get involved. It'll encourage you to get up, get dressed, put your makeup on, and go out into the world and really flex your social skills, but also at the same time, you're like building quality skills and just building integrity and just other things that are just really good for you as a person. The second would be going to impromptu type of events that you normally wouldn't go to. So like golf courses, horse racing, going to the opera, fine arts, sports, etc. Anything that attracts a niche crowd in your city, you can consistently be a part of and spread your beautiful social butterfly wings. Like if you're gonna go somewhere to watch some sort of sports game, for example, you're bound to meet people who may be involved in other societies, who may want to invite you to other events. So you wouldn't just go to some random rinky-dink bar in the hood. You want to go to the really nice parts of town, go to those sports bars in the richest parts of town to, let's say, watch football. So For example, because I did this and it worked like a charm as well, I actually got really infatuated with football for whatever reason the year that Rihanna performed at the Super Bowl. And I would go to like high-end sports bars alone and meet new people, and everything would be paid for every single time. Of course, because I was pretty, I looked good. I did meet a couple of businessmen. I've made friends with bartenders and just had a great time socializing with, honestly, people who have the funds to sit around and socialize on a Tuesday night at a high-end bar. And yes, it was a weekday, never a weekend, baby. Because at the end of the day, you want to go to these places. Like, when I say attract a crowd, I mean attract a small crowd. So you don't want to go somewhere on a busy, crowded weekend where it doesn't really make sense for you to be there alone because there's too many people. It's not really safe. So I would definitely like choose a weekday and choose the hours maybe between 4 and 8 o'clock that like really interesting people who maybe had just got off work or just wanted a night out on a weekday, and they can afford to like be out on a weekday because their schedules aren't super strict, and they don't have regular 9 to 5s like everyone else. But that's when you want to go. Next is gym classes. So you can meet people if you consistently go to the same gym. You will meet and see the same people. So obviously, when you're at the gym, you're focusing on yourself. But if you go to classes, you can make friends with the gym teachers. You can also open yourself up to other social opportunities that you can join to build your social circles. You can build your social circles in any of these settings. So speaking of the gym, just as regular hobbies and skill sets that you can adopt and learn, especially during the summer, like do not be in bed this summer. Go out by yourself if you need to. If you do not have friends, go out by yourself. And when I say go out, I don't mean go out to the club to find friends who like to club every weekend. I'm saying go outside during the day and learn something, do something, move your body. Continue to work for what you want in ways that will build your character. So, like I said, speaking of the gym, you can find some unique classes, Pilates classes, hot yoga, taekwondo. You can just do courses and like create hobbies like stretching daily. Like if you train your body to stretch for 10 minutes a day to 15 minutes a day to 30 minutes a day, you will discover things about your body that you've never known before, and it will allow you to feel like you have more to offer in life just by stretching. You could also learn stuff like belly dancing or dancing in general, or running in ritzy areas. Get yourself a little tracksuit and some running shoes and just start running every day in ritzy areas. It'll inspire you, and you can also meet other people who are running on the daily. Roller skating is amazing. I actually learned how to roller skate last year. And if you don't mind bruising and falling a million times, especially if you don't know how to roller skating is a really good cardio type of sport that gets you really toned. And you don't necessarily have to wear like workout gear when you're roller skating. Like I've seen women who dress up in really cute outfits and then they put on their roller skates and they're kind of just like beautifully skating through the streets. Instead of like putting on running shoes and running, you can like roller skate. And it's so fun to skate locally. It's just so fun. It's like freeing and you feel like a kid again. It's amazing. But just skateboarding, you can do that too. You could do volleyball. That's a good one, especially if you're near the beach, because a lot of people actually on their breaks, they go play volleyball in like some of the areas that are near the beach. Swimming is really good, or surfing is really nice too. Just et cetera, et cetera. Staying fit and learning new fitness skills just can help with your focus and your schedule, and it's counted as a part of your beauty routine because it also keeps you fit at the same time. Also, other habits like listening to pretty music with pretty lyrics, okay? And when I say this, I'm not talking about Saweetie. I'm not talking about rich nigga, that's my type. That's my type, nigga, that's my type. Like, to me, that's not I know she labels it as, but like that's not pretty girl. That's not pretty girl music. That's ratchet girl music. And Sweetie is a gorgeous girl, but her music is labeled as pretty girl music, but it's really like not. It's just like the rest of the ratchet stuff that you can listen to, but maybe with like a higher pitch. Okay, like you're not fooling nobody. But what I mean is, if you listen to soft music, if you listen to, you can like listen to old timey music, and it doesn't have to necessarily be like R&B and romance and talking about love and baby I won't leave you and da da da, like pick me lyrics. Be really specific about the lyrics that you listen to, right? Because it all plays a part. So personally, sometimes I listen to Japanese playlists and hyper pop or just hyper feminine sounding music with hyper feminine lyrics to literally preserve my femininity and to maintain a feminine and soft subconscious. This is so important because literally over time, and you wouldn't realize it, but over a certain specific amount of time, and it's not like a short amount of time, it's a very long amount of time. But whatever you constantly feed your mind is going to be in your subconscious. So if you listen to true crime all day, best believe that, let's say you do that every day, you listen to a true crime video, in 6 months, you might be looking over your shoulder. In 6 months, you may be like, I just want to imagine myself going to like the library or something, and I want to go to the library and I might walk there. But oh my gosh, like what if somebody tries to unalive me, you know? You're going to be thinking like that because you're programming your mind to think like that. You're downloading that type of energy into your psyche. And like I used to love true crime. Brittany Vaughn is my girl when it comes to true crime. I love her. But what I found is, and if you're especially like familiar with her channel, I found that I start enjoying her talking about her dogs more than I enjoy her actually talking about the true crime. I really don't want to hear what happened to these people. I don't, because I don't want it in my psyche, in my subconscious. I don't want to see images of this when I'm dreaming, because when you're listening to things, you're creating images in your mind. So you have to be so careful about these types of things. It can literally get ridiculous what you feed yourself and the type of negative mentality that you can adopt just from continuously listening to anything that's negative, whether like if you're listening to a YouTube channel where all they do is complain and complain and complain, and maybe you relate to it. But at some point, the content is not for you anymore. Like maybe you needed that validation to know that this is what other people are going through too. But it's a point where you stop listening to the complaints and then you do something about it. You take action, right? And then the next step, which I feel like a lot of people skip, is overcoming the situation, like overcoming what you're complaining about. Once you identify the problem and you've hashed it out and you've had every single conversation that you could have about something, it's time to hang it up, boo. Flat screen, okay? Because no complaining all day, every day. No rabbit holes, none of that, no more. Especially after this eclipse, like you gotta be kidding me. The vibrations are just too heavy right now for all of that. So anyway, next hobby for pretty girls is gonna be doing your own nails. So doing your own nails to me is top tier girly, feminine, pretty girl behavior. Fun fact about me, I used to do nail salons in an Asian nail salon. And I learned that gel and acrylic is just horrible for your nails. It's a waste of money. It's horrible for your nails. It breaks down the strength of your nail. When really you could just get some cuticle oil, take that ish off, and take care of your nails and grow out your nails. It is very easy and you can definitely do it. You can eat well, exercise, wash your hands often, get under your nails. Like I scratch my palms like as there's soap on my hands so that I can make sure like under my nails are clean. But you know, cuticle oil and a hand lotion is really all you need. Like you can paint your nails and your toes with non-toxic nail polish, and you can practice patience while you dry your nail polish. So speaking of practicing patience, because you're definitely going to need that if you're like, okay, I'm gonna like paint my own nails. Like it's not like gel. It's like literally like our attention spans, the gel thing, the quick and easy fix is just, we have to start doing things that last, or else everything in our lives is gonna be a quick and easy fix, a hit it and quit it, 1, 2, and go. When really, that's not how diamonds are made, baby. That might be how rhinestones are made, but I'm not a rhinestone. Are you? But like I said, practicing patience is necessary. You can also achieve patience by reading if if you used to be able to read and your attention span is just so wrecked that you can't focus on reading like me. Just practice patience by picking up a book and going through it and getting through it. And I made a schedule for myself. I'm gonna show it to you guys so that you can see, for example. But like I said, I have it so that I'm reading for at least maybe like 2 hours so that my body can fully shut down from the day and rest. Meditation is also a great way to practice patience. You know, finding silence and peace in your environment can be really challenging. And in any setting, even the quietest ones, but if you can sit for maybe 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes the next day, and then 15 minutes the next week, you know, you can start practicing deep meditation. You can get to know yourself. You really process your thoughts. You slow down. The hands of time start learning how to be, and you start learning how to be more present. You start learning how to be more grateful. If you're centered and you are patient, you can really execute this beauty thing in the way that you really want, because it is patient. It's not an easy quick fix. And if you're looking for an easy quick fix, this ain't the channel for you. It's not. Even just going through the process of things, doing your research, giving yourself time to think about things, getting a second opinion, going to someone that you trust, and then executing should be your goal, because you don't want to make haphazard decisions that will just not favor you in any way. You really just don't want to be that girl. So that's really all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for supporting the channel again. I'm going to be coming out with a lot more content. I just have to kind of balance out my school and YouTube schedule, because me and my grandmother just opened a little boutique. So we'll be doing that on the weekends as well. So I have a lot going on in my life, and you should too, baddie. So I will talk to you later. Get off YouTube and go do something productive. And yeah, have a beautiful week. It is a Monday, you guys. Hang in there. Bye.